This is KUGAN CASSIUS for iFilm London. On the phone with me, I've got Tony Bellew all the way from Liverpool. You are in Liverpool, aren't you, Tony?
I am in Liverpool, mate. Yes, I am home.
Okay. I just wanted to catch up with you. I haven't spoke to you for a little while, so I wanted to just get your thoughts on a few things. The other day, Adonis Stevenson come out with some comments about he doesn't know whether the fight with you will happen. Can you just tell me the situation regarding those comments? Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, the situation is quite simple, to be honest. I mean, he has to face me or vacate his title. It's as simple as that. I don't even think he should really be vacating the title, to be honest. And I don't think he will. So, the simple answer to that is he will face me, whether he likes it or not. I know he's only after big money fights and stuff like that, but he has to bite down on the bullet. And at the end of the day, he whinged that Carl Froch couldn't face him and didn't face him. But at the end of the day, he's whinging about what Carl Froch did or didn't do. Carl Froch went on to unify the super middleweight division and prove he's one of the best in the world. And Carl Froch was going to face Adonis Stevenson until a unification match arose, you know what I mean? So it's just, at the moment, it's a little bit annoying and frustrating, but it's in the hands of Eddie and Matchroom, and I believe and trust in them 100%. And, they'll do what's best for me. They'll make the fight 100%.
So he fights in Canada on the 28th of September against Tavoris Cloud. So were you given the opportunity to fight on the undercard of this, Tony?
I didn't actually negotiate or speak on behalf of it. I'm sure Eddie could have made it happen. But, I just don't see the point in these warm-up fights. It's how accidents happen, it's how injuries happen and stuff like that. The risk is just not big enough for the reward for just a small warm-up. If you look over the last 16 months of my career, I've had 5 12-round fights in 16 months, and I had 12-round fights in the space of 10 weeks. So, that's an awful, that's a very active light heavyweight that you're dealing with there. So, there's nothing for a warm-up fight and stuff like that. It's just, I'll just get on with it and keep doing what I'm doing.
So, obviously, it's not a given that you're going to actually face Stevenson. Obviously, he's got a tough fight in Tavoris Cloud, so it's going to be one of those too.
I personally think he'll knock Cloud out, but if it goes past 6 rounds, it's a 50-50 fight. For the first 6 rounds, I'd say it's a 70-30 fight in Adonis Stevenson's favour. But, I'm not fully convinced that Stevenson takes a great shot anyway. I do know Tavoris Cloud takes a very good shot, but I'm not sure if Stevenson does. We all know he gives one, but can he take one? That's the $1 million question at the minute, and I'm certainly going to ask that of him. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure Tavoris Cloud will ask that question of him also, but will he be in there long enough to ask the question? I know I will. I've got a brain, I can box, I can keep him long. At the end of the day, there's not many 6'3" light heavyweight fighters out there who can punch a little bit, who can box a little bit, and all different kinds of things, and stick to different game plans as well. So I'm somebody who can do that. I might not set the world alight. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but at the end of the day, there's no denying what I'm capable of doing. And on my day, I'll beat Adonis Stevenson, and I'll beat him well.
Given the choice, who would you rather face out of the two?
Adonis Stevenson, just purely and simply for the fact that he destroyed the best fighter in the world, a light heavyweight who I consider to be the best, and who the world considers to be the best, to be honest, than Chad Dawson. So, for me, Stevenson is the number 1 in the world. I know everybody's raving on this Kovalev at the minute after what he's done to the other fella, but at the same time, you've got to give credit to Stevenson, because no one wants to face Dawson. It's as simple as that. Nobody wants to. And, Stevenson went in there and he got the job done. But if it was a lucky punch or not, mate, does not matter in the slightest. At the end of the day, he defeated the premier fighter at light heavyweight, a man who dealt with Bernard Hopkins twice, Antonio Tarver twice, Glencoff Johnson twice, took the unbeaten record of Thomas Adamek. The guy's just beaten every top light heavyweight out there, and I wouldn't even say hard fights. Chad Dawson was the number 1, and I'd rather say Stevenson went in there and knocked him out in 1 round. And that's enough for me to say that whoever done that to Dawson makes him the number 1 fighter in the world.
Aside from your actual fans, do you get the perception that the neutral boxing fan believes that Stevenson will knock you out?
Oh, without doubt. I'm getting votes off by every man and his dog, to be honest. But like I say, it is what it is. I think the only person that will be believing in me at this moment in time is probably my close-knit team, and probably Harry Redknapp's dog as well, who's got a few quid in the bank. So, I'm not too sure, you know, who's believing in me and who's not, but at the end of the day, I know what I'm capable of, and you know, I fully believe in myself. People who really know me and who have been around me, trained with me, they know what I'm about. People who have shared a ring with me, my peers, they know what I'm about, and you know, you ask anybody who's been in a ring with me and shared a ring with me, if I am what people label me to be as some kind of, you know, I'm not very good at this, I can't do that. Just ask people who've been in a ring with me and shared the ring with me, and they'll tell you. You know, it's one thing looking at me on a videotape and watching me. It's a whole other ball game getting in a ring with me. And like I say, I've grown up over these last 18 months, 2 years, because I really have had to. And you know, I'm in a position now where I can make things work for me, and things like, you know, I've grown up a lot, matured an awful lot, and you know, things I've been through in these last 18 months, people don't really understand what I've been through, from court cases to, you know, a drug fight where you know, I was dreadful on the night, just various different things, you know, people trying to stop me making progress in my career, and people trying to stop my career from actually carrying on any further. All these things I've had to go through while boxing, guys who are all ranked above me. So, you know, I've had to put up with an awful lot, but I'm there now, and you know, I've done the hard work, and I'm ready to make it work for me.
Darnell Boone quite spectacularly knocked out Adonis Stevenson. What can you take from that fight? Can you take anything from that fight whatsoever?
Yeah, you can take the fact that he got clumsy and he is vulnerable. I mean, but then he you know, he demolished him in the second fight, albeit it took, I think it was 8 rounds or 9 rounds. He just beat Boone up. But Boone is a very awful guy. It's the same guy who hurt Andre Ward, who in my opinion should deserve the fight over Kovalev. Boone's a good operator. It's just that, you know, at the end of the day, he's a good operating journeyman. That's all he is. He's very similar to an Oval McKenzie. He's dangerous. He can punch, but at the end, ultimately, he's a journeyman. And you know, but when he wants to turn it on, he can. He done it the night against Stevenson, because I just think he went in there with no real fear of Stevenson. He'd been in with better than Stevenson, and he went in there with no real fear and just give it to him. And he ended up knocking Stevenson out. But I think Stevenson may have underestimated him, because they're like Darnell Boones and your Oval McKenzies of the world. They're very easy to underestimate, them fighters, and it's very easy to come unstuck against them. And you know, that's what happened for Stevenson against Darnell Boone. But you know, I think personally he'll underestimate myself also. Let me tell you, Adonis Stevenson's going to come and try and take my head off, but what he's not anticipating is what's going to come back at him. I don't hit like a fairy. I don't tickle you when I hit you. When I hit you, you're going to feel it. There's a reason I've been fighting guys like your Roberto Belantes, your Isaac Chalembers, and your Edison Miranda. There's a reason they don't want to mix it with me. It's because they feel something when I hit them, and it's something that they don't want to carry on feeling all night. And Adonis Stevenson's going to feel that. You know, I don't deny he's got power, lights out power that can put me out, but he's got to understand at the same time, I ain't going to be in there killing him. I'm going to be in there to take his head off too, when it suits me though. When it suits me and when it's good for me, because I'm a better boxer than Adonis Stevenson, there's no doubt in that. Maybe he's me, but like I said, I've got better boxing games than him. It'll be a good fight on the night, and people will get a shock at it, because I think styles make fights, and his style going with mine will make for a clear best performance from myself.
Prior to last weekend, you made some comments on Twitter about Sergey Kovalev. Just to clarify, what was your point about Sergey Kovalev? Just to clarify, because there was a lot of people.
Yeah. Just to clarify, I mean, my point was, listen. At the end of the day, my point was, a lot of people were comparing him to Gennady Golovkin. You say, you know, this guy's the new Gennady Golovkin. He's a light heavyweight busy guy. And all my point was saying, he's not Gennady Golovkin. He's not on the same league as Gennady Golovkin. He's extremely strong. You can't doubt that for 1 minute. But at the same time, he's wild. His footwork's not the best. That's all I was stating. I was stating the faults that he had. I can't personally see any faults in Gennady Golovkin yet, and I've studied him, I've watched him. I see very, very few faults. I see a lot of faults in Sergey Kovalev. It's as simple as that. You probably watch me and see even more faults. I've got more faults than him. I'm just giving it from a neutral's perspective. Nobody likes to have somebody built up to be the second coming of Ivan Drago when in fact he's just a puncher. And that was my point. You know, listen, he is good. He's proven to be better than I originally thought. but I still have of the conclusion that he is a puncher, and basically I see him being much more than that. And I also believe there's a reason why he's being matched the way he's being matched. Has he fought a puncher yet? Why hasn't he been matched with any punches? Because we all know he could have went in with Tavoris Cloud. We all know he could have went in with, say, a Bernard Hopkins. Why did he choose Cleverly? There's a reason why he chose Cleverly. His team chose Cleverly. You know, HBO have got Tavoris Cloud, and HBO have got ladies who fight Babich, Shumanov, top-ranked fighters. Why didn't he choose to fight any of them? Did they carry a bit more pop, or is his team so confident in him going in with punches? I don't know. You know, but I'm just asking the questions that I'm asking as a boxing fan, and then I'm intrigued to find out. At the end of the day, I beat Adonis Stevenson. I'll mark my words. I will take no steps away from Sergey Kovalev, not in the slightest. I will fight him, no problem whatsoever, in a unification match. It's as simple as that for me.
Were you surprised about what happened in Cardiff?
I was very surprised at the outcome, yeah, because at the end of the day, you don't stand there banging with a banger. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure that out. It was shocking, the tactics that were taken. It really was. But you know, at the end of the day, that's just the way it is. It would have been like, I don't know. It's like me going in a ring with someone like, say, Chad Dawson and trying to, as a southpaw. It'd be absolutely suicidal. To stand there, it was just like a rabbit caught in the headlights, and you know, it was alarming and shocking to see. I don't know. I really don't know. You know, listen, he's his own man. He's got his own career, and you know, good luck to him at the end of the day. But in my opinion, he was just rabbit stuck in the headlights. He just didn't know what to do when the pressure was heaped on him, and you know, that's just the way it is. And
the suggestion of him saying he was possibly going to retire, or people suggesting he was. What do you think about that?
When your heart's not in it, your heart's not in it. At the end of the day, it's just sometimes, you know, not everybody's made for this sport. I've got close people to me tell me that I'm different from other people by the way you bounce back from defeats and, you know, knockdowns and stuff like that. You just, everybody's different, and does he really want it? I don't know. You know, you see, it's different. He's got other avenues in life. He's a mathematician. Well, you know, a supposed mathematician. At the end of the day, he's got other career paths he can take. There's people like myself. Listen, boxing's the only thing I'm good at. It's all I know. So if I finish boxing, where am I going? I'm going to get a 9-to-5 job back in the pillar factory. I'm working on the door at weekends. And that's the pressures I've got in front of me when I get into a boxing ring. They're my worst fears. Not what a fighter can do to me. It's going back to what I was doing before I was doing well in the boxing. So, you know, does he have them genuine fears before him? Because I don't think he does, because at the end of the day, probably he's got qualifications that allow him to go out there and do a great job. At the end of the day, a job where he doesn't get punched in the face anymore, a job that doesn't, you know, dictate his life or take over his life. So, you know, like I say, everyone's made up of different stuff. It's shocking to see someone just stand there with no game plan whatsoever and just allow himself to be, you know, personally bulldozed around the ring.
All right, just quickly moving away from that, quick word on Darren Barker over the weekend, Tony?
Absolutely fantastic what he's done. Listen, Darren's been through the mill. You know, it's well documented about what he's been through in his personal life, but people have got to understand what he's been through in his actual professional life too. Like myself, he's suffered a crushed knee, suffered, you know, a hard defeat, hard one to take, but he's also suffered various injuries, career-threatening injuries as well, that he's had to come back from, start again, regroup, and then add on top of all of that, you know, the personal things that he's had to go through in his life. It's just an amazing story. It's the Rocky story. It really is. It is unbelievable. And, you know, I just wish him every success, because, you know, he really, really does deserve it. I was really happy also for Tony Sims as well. Tony Sims is a really good fella, and, you know, he's in this, you know, a little bit of a recognition, and hopefully he's going to get that now. He's a world-class coach. He's got world-class fighters in his stable, and he's been grafted on a long time, Tony Sims. I remember meeting Tony Sims many years ago before I turned professional, and he gave me some good advice then that I didn't heed. But if I could look back now, I would have took that advice on board, and I'm so sorry I didn't. But, you know, listen, everybody chooses their own path, and Darren's chose his path, and you've got to give him, you know, top marks and so much credit for what he's done, because he's done it really, really the hard way. He went in with the best middleweight in the world. You know, he could come up a little bit short, and then, you know, he's right back on it. He gets that huge, nasty injury that he got before the Alexandra Palace fight when I fought Miranda. And like I say, he's just regrouped, he's gone away, he's looked at his training, he started again from the bottom, and he's worked his way up to the top. And now he's on the verge of some great matches, and earning himself some fantastic kind of money. You know, he's got a young family there. Just nobody deserves it as much as he does, to be honest. He really don't. He's a lovely fella, a good person, and, you know, I was just over the moon for him. You could see what it meant to everybody there. There's grown men in tears there, and that just doesn't happen in boxing rings. It's very, very rare. You see that, you know, at the end of the day, promoters in tears. That's unheard of. I ain't never seen a promoter in tears. Never in my whole life, and I've been watching boxing for many years, and I've never seen that. So, you know, it's what it meant to everybody, and what it meant to Darren ultimately and his family as well. You know, it allows him to go on and achieve something really great. And like I say, hopefully, fingers crossed that, you know, he can cement his legacy and, you know, make it what he want more than anything is to become financially secure. Because that's what we all want as boxers with families. We don't want to carry on fighting until, you know, we've got no face left or no nose left. You want to make your family and your family life financially secured, and that's what we're in it for.
Promoter in tears or just one big fucking baby is Eddie Hearn? Which one is it? What one?
Do you know what? I don't know what I could say. All I can say is I've seen a little bit of that Celebrity Big Brother last night, and I'll be honest, he had me in tears with some of them tweets. I mean, when he said, "I knew it never worked out for Screech," that had me in fits of laughter. He's honest, to be fair. He's honest. He wears that honestly, and he's honest. That's all you can ask for. All I'd ask for is honesty. Big client's heart, I don't know about that, but he's funny, mate. Like I say, just he can make you laugh, and he's straight up, and he wears Peppa Pig suits. That
was definitely him. Don't care what anyone says. Definitely him.
I can confirm 110% it was him.
Yeah. Alright, just finally, what were you doing with Mr. Martinez today?
Bloody hell. Good news travels fast. I see you've been updated on your Twitter. I got to meet the new manager today. We sat down with him for, you know, half an hour and had a good chat with him, just me and him, and I was surprised that how much he knew a little bit about boxing and myself and my career and where it was going. It was great to meet him. Good to be back in the groove of things. You know, I haven't needed to really open myself up to training lately, but I had to go in today, get ice baths and get a few little things seen too. And like I said, I had a good sit down with the manager and sat there chat with him, which was great to do. You know, he knows the expectations of Everton Football Club, and he's excited by it, which was usually would frighten new managers into a job, but he's meeting the anticipation of the fans. Because listen, Everton Football Club is a huge club, and we have fans that expect an awful lot from the club. They really, really do, and it's like he expects just as much as the fans. To listen to a manager saying that is fantastic. I was really over the moon.
Do you expect?
And then to see the boys as well.
Do you expect Fellaini and Baines to be sold?
I don't expect it, but it could happen. You know, at the end of the day, if the right money comes in, then at the end of the day, we're not Manchester United, we're not Chelsea, we're not Manchester City. At the end of the day, you've got to accept if you're not in them three clubs bracket, and maybe even Tottenham now. Well, Tottenham actually is. At the end of the day, no. Well, listen, if somebody comes into Arsenal, you know, the Gunners, and says, here is £30 million, we want Theo Walcott, you sell him. It's as simple as that. It does not matter. But say if Real Madrid go to Manchester United, listen, we want Robin van Persie, there's 50 million quid, they ain't selling him.
Yeah.
Then this is what I'm saying. This is football now. You know, most clubs are, I wouldn't say selling clubs, but when the right price comes in, they have to sell basically. But then you've got very, very few clubs in the Premiership anyway. I'd say there's only 3 who don't have to sell. I really do believe that, and you know, it just happens to be that we aren't in them top 3. So if a big offer comes in, we have to consider it. That's the position you're in. There's no point in lying to ourselves saying we've got players, they want to stay. It's not realistic. We've got to be real. If an offer comes in, you know, players are going to move at the end of the day. And you know, all I can do is wish them luck. What I can say is, it's fantastic to see that. You know, we've got players at the club, and big clubs are coming and talking about them. Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, our players haven't come out and spat the dummy out and said, I want to go, and I've got to give a lot of credit to Gareth Bale here. If someone bids 108 million quid and he's coming down and he hasn't come out and said a word in the media, you know, you've got to give that kid his props, because how tempting must it want to be to play Champions League football at one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he knows they're bidding for them, and he's not doing nothing about it. That's a classy individual, in my opinion. I don't need to mention names on the individuals who have come out and spat the dummy out wanting to move clubs, because everybody knows who he is. But it's a perfect example of the players at our club have just stayed quiet, gone into work and done the job, played on Saturday and done a great job for the club. You know, the likes of Marouane and Bainesy, just no one's heard nothing from them, and you've got to really give the players credit for that, because it must be really tough to go into work and, you know, be linked with huge clubs like that and not be able to say anything. But they have, and, you know, all credit to the players.
All right, well, listen, thank you.
You've had your fair share out of me there, lad. You've had a fair share. You're going to bang this out on Twitter now, and I'm probably going to get tons of abuse, but you know what? Who gives a shite?
Oh, who's going to abuse you? What? People from Wales maybe may abuse you, but...
Listen, I couldn't give a monkey's who says anything to me, because at the end of the day, it's just a simple reply. If you've got something to say to me, wait till you see me, and I'll answer you then. It's as simple as that. I don't care what anyone says. That's not a threat, by the way. It's just, if you've got something to say it when you see me. I'm always about. I never hide from anyone.
That's it.
So, you know, simple as that.
I'm even starting to get some abuse now. Can you believe that?
Well, you're a celebrity now, aren't you, Cougar? I mean, you've appeared on ringside, and, you know, your face is everywhere these days.
People are starting to dig me out now as well, but, you know, listen.
Well, you know,
it is what it is.
You're KUGAN CASSIUS D-list celebrity. You're fantastic.
I don't even think I'm D. I think I'm more, you know, on the lower bracket, like maybe L or M, but we'll see. All right.
Okay, mate. I was Z after I boxed in Liverpool, so it makes no odds.
All right. Keep watching Big Brother anyway, because I know you're going to get hooked on it now.
I'm not watching that shite, mate. I'm bad news. The way that girl behaved the other night, it was appalling. I've never seen it. I didn't think women could speak and behave like that. I'm in total shock.
All right. Well, listen, Tony, thank you for talking to us. I'm sure I'll catch up with you very soon anyway. And like I said, if I can get out to Canada, I will. To see you.
Listen, just keep going. Earn with Hearn. I'm sure you'll get there.
Earn with Hearn. All right. Listen, Tony Bellew, thank you very much for talking to iFilm London, and we'll speak to you very soon. But thanks for your time anyway.
All right. Ta-ra, mate.
Thank you very much.